Hi everyone, Ashley Mailloux here, taking a look at the Tuesday race of the day for July 22nd. We'll go out to Assiniboia Downs and we'll focus in on race number 7. It's a 6 furlong event for 3-year-olds and upward, allowance level non-winners of 2 life. So we take a look at this field. Favoritism on the morning line goes to the outside runner in here, the number 8 Acknowledge, who's 8-5 on the morning line. Comes in off a couple of efforts down at Churchill Downs and now in a barn switches to the barn of Wendy Anderson, and have to think the figures sort of stand out for those last 2, but obviously hasn't been able to win those races, and they haven't been the biggest of fields, but have to think this is some class relief for this gelding. So understand the favoritism there, but some interesting horses in here elsewhere. The 5 Better Luck Next Time. We'll talk a bit more about him. He's 4 for 8 in his career, and notice I said allowance level non-winners of 2 life. He's a Manitoba bred, so obviously those restricted races don't kind of count towards the allowances and the conditions. So he is eligible for the spot. He is the only multi-race winner in the field, and there's also the number 4 Bottle Caps, who is just 1 for 18 lifetime, but has been very consistent, has come up short 10 times in his career with 10 runner-up placings, but thought his effort last time out gives him a long look in this field. Now we'll move to the time form US pace projection. Pretty much agree with this. I really have no kind of argument to make here of thinking it would be different. I think when you look at Better Luck Next Time, based on what we've seen, he should be quite close to the pace. I don't think he needs to be the pace setter. I think the outside runner in here, the same thing can be said about Acknowledge. And so far, the 7 Hate Sweet Darling, 2 starts under the belt, has been the pace setter in both, and might be a little bit better now second off the long layoff. Probably needed the race last time out, but even with that in mind, still made the lead early to tire in that event on July 8th. So with that said, let us move into the field here. We'll kick things off with number 1, Prince of the Prairie. This one in the Carl Anderson barn. Kind of look at the 2-year-old season and feel a little bit bad for the connections. He got better with each start last year. He was able to kind of graduate and then finish second in the Winnipeg Futurity, and a good performance. I mean, he was able to close the gap late there after being towards the back of the pack, and now as a 3-year-old, it just hasn't gone his way. The pace was a little bit slower last time out, and they sent him to the front in contrast to his return to the races where they tried to have him close from off of it. Just neither of them have panned out. He's got to face those rivals again, so you're going to get value on the number 1, but for me, he's tough to make a case for. The number 2, Attaboy Cookie, next up in the field for trainer Stephen Gaskin, is a horse that I thought off the really long layoff ran a game third. Medicine Dog was 9 lengths clear of the field, the runner-up. This horse is only 3/4 of a length behind, and Be La Soul came back to win. Next start, though, for Attaboy Cookie, I didn't love the performance. It's hard for me to assess it. I do know that they went slower, but you just kind of look at how he runs. He's going to roll from off of it, and that's a concern in this spot. It's also worth noting, I'm pretty sure that he was entered in a race recently and was scratched at the gate. So just something to add to a little bit of the confusion now of the last out effort, and we haven't seen him since then. But with that said, if the pace is hot in here, if you think it's going to be very, very quick and it's going to set up for closers, I mean, he's a horse that he showed time and time again. He can close from off of it, but be very kind of cautious on the price. I want to take a short price on him, and you shouldn't get one at 25-1 on the morning line. The 3, Mr. Splash, we'll take a look at his most recent effort, and also involves Better Luck Next Time was in the field. In terms of what we see here, you can watch the whole replay. I think Mr. Splash got the inside trip, actually kind of forced Better Luck Next Time to stay out for a bit, and it didn't make a difference. I think this horse ends up being second best. I thought it was a good performance, though. It was certainly a step in the right direction based on his other 2 efforts. And Better Luck Next Time was just pretty commanding in there. So Mr. Splash, I could see using him underneath in the exotics. He is trending in the right direction, as I mentioned, and based on the trip last time out, I think he will be somewhat closer to it. I don't think he can really close, at least with the way the track's playing right now, from that far back, but especially against this field. But like I said, he did run well last time out. Number 4, Bottle Caps. Feel for this horse. He shows up to the dance every single time. He just typically doesn't win. As we take a look at his most recent performance, we covered this race of the day here on the Daily Racing Form YouTube page, and comes, second best again. Coal Boy ran really well in both of these horses. The main takeaway, they rallied from off of it in a big way. He comes up just a bit short again, length and a quarter short, but like this performance from him. I know he was the favorite, and he's going to always be sort of a short price based on what we've seen, right? His consistency. It's just typically not putting him in the winner's circle, and I will say I liked his performance last time out better than the 1-2 back, even though the figure is softer, just in the fact that he just gave way that little, last bit of ground there in that race on June 17th. And I think with that in mind, liked what we saw last time out, liked the one run move. And for me, I think, he's a top 2 sort of horse in here. I think you have to consider how you want to play him, but he's got to be somewhere in the top 2, at least of my tickets. The number 5, Better Luck Next Time. We mentioned this name already. We saw him win and beat Mr. Splash in gate-to-wire fashion back on July 2nd. And mentioned this earlier, he's 4 for 8 in his career. It's an allowance event, non-winners of 2 life, but if you open up the Assiniboia Downs condition book and you read really closely, those restricted races don't count towards, how they view him in here. So technically in this race, he's allowed to race allowance level, non-winners of 2 life, and he could be a major threat. He could be tactical. He could be part of the pace. Obviously his resume pretty much says what you need to see here. And I don't care that those races were restricted. I think when you actually look at the figures that he's putting up, he's not far off of anyone in here, maybe with the exception of being the 8. And that's pretty much the story for everyone outside of the 8 who has those 70+ fire speed figures. So Better Luck Next Time. Very curious. I think he's going to take betting support in here off the 6-1 morning line. The 6, Air Force Reserve. He's been a horse that historically, when you go back, has been close to the action early on. And this year, at least in the last 2 and really 3 of his 4, they've tried different things. And I think the tactics have actually worked out a little bit better for him. Not sure now if he is necessarily as quick. I thought his effort 2 back was a game performance. He was 12-1 in there. He finished 3rd behind Belisol and Bottle Caps. But then obviously you go down to his last 4 and you see the bolded font of Bottle Caps. Attaboy Cookie, Better Luck Next Time. He's one that I've said it before. It's just hard for me to assess his form and think that he's going to get the trip, that he can turn the tables on his rivals. The number 7, Hey Sweet Darlin'. Horse that should be the pace setter in here. I have a feeling they're going to go with him. Obviously, it worked out on his debut, a gate-to-wire winner where he scored by 6 1/4 lengths, and then last time out, he tired in there. And as we mentioned it, the fractions, they weren't ultra quick, but it was the pace setup that the horses that closed needed. It was good enough for them, such as Schoolboy and Bottle Caps, and Hey Sweet Darling ends up being 4th best. He should be more fit now, second off the long layoff. He's going to be in the mix early. We'll just have to see if he can stay here with other speed involved in this field. And directly to his outside is the 8, Acknowledge, going to round out the field. Now in the barn of Wendy Anderson off a 3rd and a 2nd place finish at Churchill, which, mind you, in one of them he was 16-1, the other one he was 7-1, a first level allowance going 7.5, and wonder how the 2 turns is going to work for him. A little bit different than what he's been used to, going the mile and 7.5 trip at Churchill Downs. Obviously, this is class relief for him based on those last 2. His figures stand out. It's just a little interesting for me to see a horse that I think ran good enough. Why they didn't try to find other spots for him in Kentucky? Why didn't they try to drop him, right? It's an interesting move, in my opinion. So at a short price, I don't know how to assess him in here. He just has that one local drill at Assiniboia. He's the type of horse to me that he can win by 10 lengths, or he might not be, that close to it when it's all said and done. So he'll be supported in here. He will be an extremely short price. So that's the field for the Tuesday race of the day, race 7 at Assiniboia Downs on Tuesday, July 22nd. Don't forget free pass performances for the race of the day every single day at DRF.com. As we move to our top picks in here, I gotta get a little creative. I try to beat the favorite, especially at Assiniboia. We've had some luck this meet. I'm gonna try to beat the 8, Acknowledge, with the 4 Bottle Caps, which trust me, I don't usually go for horses that are 1 for 18 in their lifetime, but I do like his effort last time out, and I just know that he's obviously accomplished locally. I have some question marks around Acknowledge. I mentioned he could easily win here, and it could be just kind of in a league of his own, and that might be the outcome. But I'll use him in the 2nd spot, and then from here was a little more wide open in terms of what horses to use. I think the 5, Better Luck Next Time, is a must-use. He's 4 for 8 in the career. I know they're restricted races, but I wouldn't read into it too much. I would look at who he's faced, who he's finished in front of, some of those rivals once again, and look at his figures. He has some of the better figures in this field. And then from here, was torn between the 3 and the 7. I just thought the 7, Hey Sweet Darling. This horse gets loose on the lead. The field still might catch up to him in the end, but he may be able to hang on. So for me, 4-8, 5-7 this Tuesday, race 7 at Assiniboia. Good luck.